one of the two center backs. Hey, what's up? Yes, I got lineups. And we are still testing audio and whatnot, trying to make sure everything is nice, fit, and in shape for game time. Benjamin Kramashi, he is Argentine. Let me write that down so that I remember that. Argentina. And he is 17 years old. Wow. What were you doing at 17 years old? I was in high school. I was in high school at 17 years old, not playing professional soccer in Dry Pink Stadium for Inter Miami 2. Oh, there's some audio. Hearing some gnats from the site. It'll be his second season playing with the 2 team. Didn't have any appearances, though, with the 2 team in... No, never mind. That's wrong. He had 13 appearances and 5 goals last season in MLS Next Pro. I'm going to write that down. 13 apps. And he had 5 goals in 2022 MLS. Okay. And then we've got Amemabika. Tall guy. Used to play for this team in League One and had 16 appearances last year, 16 apps in 22 with Inter. Amemabika, he played the MLS Next team 4 times. We got it. Let's go. Woohoo!
Don't stop, don't stop.
Chicago Fire 2 getting ready to get underway here from Drive Pink Stadium. We welcome you to this broadcast on MLSNextPro.com. My name is Mark Schoenster, excited to bring you the action here today as these two teams open up this season in MLS Next Pro Season 2, looking to follow up and build up on what they did last year. Both these teams on the tail end of this opening weekend in MLS Next Pro. Had games on Friday, Saturday, a couple games earlier today on Sunday, and now these two teams looking to get in on the action here as everything gets underway here in the second season of this new league. Two teams that played each other twice last season, split the series, and now we'll see what both have in store this year. A lot of great talent on both of these rosters looking to show themselves up here today. See our officiating crew and now our starting lineup for Federico Higuain, a name that many will be familiar with from his playing days, now managing this second team for Inter Miami. Here's their starting lineup, some familiar faces all around for those who have been watching this second team play in MLS Next Pro and USL League One prior to that. Likes of Edison Azcona, Amema Bika, and company. Meanwhile, Chicago Fire 2, led by Ludovic Thailandier, managing for the second straight season for this two team. And all the way up and down the line, led by 29-year-old keeper Jeffrey Gall. And then a potent top three with Rodriguez, Becerra, and Moniz, all perfectly capable of putting that ball into the back of the net as we get things going here. Our officiating crew today will be led by Kalen Radisav. As both sides get ready to go. Inter Miami 2 will be going left to right. Meanwhile, Chicago Fire 2 will be going right to left. They'll be wearing their road white kits. Meanwhile, Inter will be in black with pink. It's become so customary for this Inter Miami program as a whole. Now I'll be looking to get things underway here from Drive Pink Stadium. I just have to wait for the whistle, and we are underway. These two seasons embarking on a new season in year 2 of MLS Next Pro. We welcome you along to see how they both do throughout the campaign. Starting off with possession will be Chicago Fire 2. Once again, we welcome you to the broadcast. My name is Mark Schoenster. Pleased to be regaling the action with you here for the next 90 minutes. A loose pass going forward, but Rodriguez has it. Rodriguez takes a shot, it's saved. Falling into that one was Marsman, the veteran keeper for Inter Miami 2. What a quick opportunity there for Chicago Fire 2, and it's a positive start for the visitors. He was given the lease to take the shot there, no one closing in on him fast enough. Now that one will be cleared up the pitch by Mabika. After a couple of touches, Inter Miami in back possession here. Marsman blasting that one down the field, and now is an opportunity on the other end. Going across the keeper, it's saved. Well done by Jeffrey Gall. But here's another effort, deflected upward. Still working forward with it now. Another opportunity, played across the middle, deflected around a couple more times. It's not fully dealt with. That was Kramashi pushing forward for Inter Miami there. And now this one will roll all the way back. So some dangerous moments for both sides already. You know that players, younger players will be wanting to get the chances to shine in these games, but right now we got two veteran keepers, 29 years old and 32 years old, in Nick Marsman and Jeffrey Gall, and both of them have already had to step up to the plate and help out their back line, ensure that they don't concede super early in this game. So here's a look at that last opportunity on the breakaway. Just a wonderful save. And then they end up getting one or two more chances out of it before it was fully cleared out of danger. Harvey Neville will play this one up the pitch. Possession exchanging back and forth, but Inter Miami 2 will be the ones to hold back onto it. Beautiful day in South Florida. About 81 degrees. You can hear a light little breeze, nothing too heavy. Just wonderful weather. Given how wonderful the weather is, you won't need hydration breaks, which of course will pick up the pace of the game, which is another big emphasis this season for MLS Next Pro. Of course, if it's necessary, then utilize that hydration break, and I'm sure as the season goes on, we will be seeing hydration breaks across the league during the summer, especially down here in South Florida. It can get hot and it can get humid. Wonderful slipping pass through. Rodriguez plays it to the top, rotating it out wide. Monis has to track it down, and he can't keep it in play. Another chance moving forward for Inter Miami. Dispossessing it there, but then winning it right back. And a couple exchanges here. Perkovic plays it to the center, and nearly juggling it. Two separate players had a chance to put that one on goal. Jake LaCava and Brian Destin both around that ball, but neither one of them could capitalize. Neville plays up the pitch once again. Kramashi. Back to Perkovic. Kramashi over to Neville. In that right channel. And that cross will sail overhead and out for a goal kick. We're going to take a look at that last chance again. So you got Destin here, who does so well, and then he's just too far away. And then it pops over to LaCava, who was not prepared for it to fall to his feet like that. Well, that was a wide open opportunity to make this one 1-0 in favor of the home side. So both these teams played last season, so not one of the new additions to MLS Next this year. Inter Miami 2 went 10-9-5 as Rodriguez enters the 18. Rodriguez, good pass. A poor touch there. End up getting the best of Luca Perpa. Had an opportunity to put that one on net. As I was saying, Inter Miami 2, just a little bit outside the playoff line last season at 10-9-5. They were very successful at home, though, 7-3-2. I'm sure they'll want to translate that over from last season. Of course, you get the benefit of maybe more players being at your disposal when you're at home. Some guys up the pecking order who need some minutes that aren't going to travel with the team. Meanwhile, Chicago, we're just a bit below them in the standings at 8-11-5. Year one for Ludovic Thaillandier. This ball rolling forward just too far ahead of its man. Be out for a goal kick. Nick Marsman, 32 years old, will put this one back into play. This one back by the Fire. Good ball through. And Mabika has to track in there and dish it out. It'll be a corner kick. So making his way over there, Luca Perpa will be the one to set up this corner kick. Puts both his hands up. Swings this ball in. Headed down, and it looks like it was deflected away. And it must have made contact with another Fire player because it's going to be a goal kick. Here's a look at it again. Well, maybe it didn't make any contact. It went by Nick Marsman. He put up his hand, but he didn't make any sort of jump towards the ball to knock it away. It wasn't on target. But the Fire, once again, winning ball back here and have looked the more promising side so far. Inter Miami 2, just that one breakaway chance where they were able to conjure up a couple of chances. Definitely been more structured and more stable from Chicago. The long ball headed away by Mabika, but it falls right into the feet of another striker.
Ooh.
That shot ricochets away once again by Mabika. One of the more experienced players playing for Miami here, at least with this squad. Service comes in and will curl all the way out harmlessly.
Guess what happened?
You can see at the bottom of the screen there in that coach's box, Federico Higuain.
Okay,
Over 400 pro appearances as a player.
I'm sorry, I won't do that.
In 2021, he had 3 goals and 4 assists with Inter Miami.
All right, thank you.
And had been assisting the coaching staff here with the club up until getting the head coach gig this season for the 2 team. So fully transitioning on from player to full-on head coach. It's always exciting when you see a player like that make the transition and do well for himself. get a whistle from our head official, Kalen Radisav. Like Alonzo Aceves went down there. We'll see. That's a little bit careless there from Perkovic. So he'll get a talking to from the ref. Actually, it looks like that was, no, it was Perkovic. So maybe a new head coach for Federico Higuain, but Ludovic Talandier, his second season as the head honcho for Chicago Fire 2. This one bounces all the way to Marsman. 43 years old though, Talandier, excuse me. He's been working with the Fire as an assistant coach before taking that head role for the second team. He was managing the Fire Academy before that. He also worked as a technical coach at Paris Saint-Germain back in the mid-2000s, so he's been in the coaching game for quite a while now. Of course, if you're able to rubbing elbows with people at such a premier program like PSG, that obviously will give you a bit of a pedigree. Nice little flick on. Rodriguez taking to the right-hand side, squares it across, it's punched away. It's out in the open, and Neville will clear it. Jeffrey Gall up to the challenge once again. And precarious there for the goalkeeper. And this back line for Chicago Fire 2. They're able to get it across the halfway line. Now challenge Inter Miami 2 to handle a very similar situation here. They'll apply some pressure. Look to force a mistake. Here's a chance for the home side. Azcona plays over to the left-hand side for LaCava. They'll tap it back. Now, Miami will look to push forward, apply some pressure. Should stay home side ball, and it will be. Just a quick look at the last chance for Chicago Fire 2. Marcel Rodriguez playing across the center, looking to find Mateo Kidd. Who had lots of apps last season, appearances that is, for Chicago Fire. Chicago Fire 2 to clarify. Here's Azcona. Plays it wide to the right, and it will roll out too far ahead of one Harvey Neville. This portion of the match is brought to you by AutoNation, the official automotive retailer and dealership of Inter Miami CF. Ryan Saylor will play it back to his keeper. Federico Higuain, the manager, said before the season, we're very excited to kick off the second season in MLS Next Pro. Mentioned we're looking forward to taking the opportunity to continue developing our players in a highly competitive environment. We hope to continue to help players reach the first team level and be a competitive team in our division. Here's a chance going forward for the Fire. Rodriguez slips it by the keeper, but it's too wide. He got by Marsman, but grazed the outside post. Marsman's been busy today. And Rodriguez, who has had a couple of chances breaking forward, that's the closest he's gotten yet. Chicago continue to push forward and find chances. But they still haven't been able to break through thus far. Just gets this one ahead, but then a sliding challenge wins it back for the Fire. A lot of space at the top of the 18. And then trying to slip it through there was Monis. And now the home side could break away. As Kona plays it out wide to LaCava. And they'll play it back to Kramashi.
Hello? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not. What did I say? I'm sorry. I'll keep quiet.
We get a whistle here after that collision. And we've got our first booking of the day. Looks like that was brandished Joseph Converse. So look at this again. Converse come crashing in, and we'll get the first booking of the evening here. 17-year-old midfielder. Result in a free kick for the visiting side. That has tried to keep it in play, but was unsuccessful in that endeavor. Here they come again. Couple good moves here. And a shot that just goes wide. Becerra trying to rip it to the far netting. That's great to get by one defender. It's a confident take. Victor Becerra is still down though. He didn't quite plant his foot right. He's slow to get up. Back up on his feet, which is a promising sign, and he looks to walk this one out. Aceves with two players on him defensively, and it goes out for a goal kick. A name you won't see in the lineup today or on the bench for Chicago, Amari Glasgow. Returnee to the squad this season, but is currently out with the Guyana national team for the CONCACAF Nations League matches. Another great opportunity for the 19-year-old. Of course, in his stead, Rodriguez, Becerra, and Monis have done a good job so far offensively. Haven't been able to get that goal yet, but All three of them now have created some chances or have had prime opportunity on goal. Of course, it's game 1 of the season. Everybody's still trying to get sharp. Can't play that excuse for very long. And here's another prime chance. This one will go through. Mateo Kidd backs it home. Chicago are up 1-0. They kept pushing, creating chances, and eventually one was going to get through. And Mateo Kidd, 24 years old, was able to put that one through with some confidence. And the visitors up 1-0 on the road. Here's a look at it again. Squared up the keeper there and decided to go near post. Just skipped it by Nick Marsman. You have it. A well-earned goal given the run of play for Chicago. This portion of the match is brought to you by Florida Blue, the official health insurance of Inter Miami CF. Now I have to see how these two teams react to responding to the new situation, going up a goal or going down a goal. I want to see how the visitors stay aggressive and how the trailing side handle a little bit of adversity here. These windows of time after goals are always so crucial in a game. Looking to hold the ball a little bit more here. Miami had to brace the brunt of the attack in this one. Kramashi is able to win a corner for his side. Let's see what this side could do from the set piece department. Amema Bika, one of the center backs, very tall in stature, is always a dangerous threat in these moments. We'll await the service. It comes in and it nearly makes contact with Mabika. Neville. Play this one all the way back and out of his line. Nick Marsman has to handle it. Nailing in the same fashion that any of his teammates would be capable of doing. Ascona trying to exchange there with Lakava. A loose touch there. We'll give it back to Kramashi. Krkovic in the middle. Now they'll retreat here and try to restructure their attack going forward. Last season, the first year, the inaugural year in MLS Next Pro. And after having the chance to assess and look at all the numbers, a couple of main things were were taken away from that first season that were positives to build off of. The average player competing in each and every game of MLS Next Pro as Inter Miami 2 push forward. Nice challenge there. Azcona plays it to LaCava. LaCava into the 18. He shoots and it's saved. Called away by Gal. Jeffrey Gal once again stepping up to the plate. But a hot shot there, I believe, by Jake LaCava. Now we're going to get another corner kick. Let's see what they can do with it. So it'll be Harvey Neville who will make his way over there to take it. He nearly connected with Mabika on the last corner. Number 6, you could see him in there, about a head above everybody else. Service comes in. It's headed and pings around and out, and that should be a goal kick as that ball finds itself a seat in the stands at Dry Pink Stadium. As I was saying, though, the average age of the player in MLS Next Pro last season was 22.5 years old. 217 academy players, though, got to play last year and averaged about 45 minutes per game. And then, of course, the big number that is important to this league, 81 MLS Next Pro players called up to the MLS on short-term loans. Many of which would end up getting those first team contracts. Player development also important in the sport and growing that soccer pyramid here in the United States. So had a bit of a Inter Miami 2 stretch there. Chicago looking to retain possession and start pushing forward once again. And they have the chance here. But Ame Mabika collects that loose ball and dishes it away. Kramashi wins it back and plays it up the pitch. The offside flag would have stopped that run there from Brian Destin anyway. Which will bring this one back. Right now, your score line. As Jeffrey Gal will put this one back into play. This portion of the match is brought to you by Baptist Health, the official medical provider of Inter Miami CF. Mentioned earlier, these two teams played twice last season. Went 1-1 in that series, the home team winning both occasions. Looks like Chicago trying to break that trend from 2022. They actually closed the season off with each other. So the last time these two teams played an MLS Next Pro game, it was against each other. Of course, that one was at SeatGeek Stadium. A 1-0 victory for Chicago Fire 2. A goal in the 14th minute was the difference from Alex Moniz, who is also playing today. The last time they played here was back in July of 2022. A 3-1 victory for Inter Miami 2. Right now is a goal in the 23rd minute. That's the difference in this affair. A goal from Mateo Kidd, assisted by Luca Perpa. couple moves, trying to assess where to go with this ball. Just weaving back and forth, and ends up playing it back to Mabiko, and he didn't like any of his options going forward. Kramashi plays it right down the middle and gets it right back. And now they'll keep pushing forward. A couple of light moves there from Ezekiel Abadiareda. That was a wonderful pass forward. Going to Aceves. But can he veer around Mabika? He cannot. The center back, oh, too strong. Here he is again. Blasting that one up the pitch. So that ball is smacked back into possession for Chicago. That's only a temporary hold. Chipping ball over to the right-hand side. So we're going to get our first substitution of the day here in the first half. Billy Hensey is coming into the game, and Victor Becerra will come out. Hensey, 23 years old, switching into this one. And then a loose touch there off of Perkovic will give it back to the leading side. Perpa, the goal scorer, will play it back. Or excuse me, Kidd, the goal scorer, will play it back. Chicago Fire once again breaking forward, but not for too much longer there. After a couple of jostles and fighting for the ball, it'll pop out and will maintain in the home side's favor. Here come Miami. Pushing it forward to Sailor before passing it out to the left-hand side. Neville. To Perkovic, who plays it back to Mabika. See if they can create something here before this half winds to a close. Still got about 10 minutes. We're watching the opening game of the season in MLS Next Pro for Inter Miami 2 and Chicago Fire 2. It'll be a 28-game season for every club. Across of 27 weeks, which is 4 more games than last season. It'll go all the way to September 29th, which will then be when the playoffs begin. And that'll go from the 29th to October 22nd as Inter Miami find a goal in response. Edison Azcona tucks one home. They find that response. And we are all level once again at 1-1. Good exchange there between Destin, Kramashi, and then Azcona. Just gets that shot off right before you'd be closed off by Omsberg. And we are all level at 1 apiece here. I said after that first goal that how these two teams respond will be crucial. Then the home team responded by pushing forward, holding possession a little more, and finding the correct avenues to slip the ball through. And Edison Azcona, who has always been so dangerous as a striking player, proves once again his worth. Just 19 years old, but has been playing with this club for a couple years now. And that's that. Both these teams trading goals here in the first 45 minutes. Now here's a cross swinging inside, headed straight up by Neville. Kept in play, but maybe to the detriment of the home side. And now a corner kick has been won. Curious to see how Chicago responds now in these next 7 or so minutes of action left to be played in the first half. Low swinging ball, tapped to the top and pinged up in the air. Billy Hensey, the substitute, the one who made contact with it right around the penalty marker spot. But it must have been glanced on its way because it's going to be another corner kick. Corner comes in, headed upward. It'll bounce over to the left-hand side. We're sprinting and fighting for it as Aceves, and does well there to send in the cross and wins a corner kick for his side. It'll be Luca Perpa who will make his way over to that corner to take it. Already has 1 assist today. I'm sure he would not mind having another. Perpa service comes in, and it's headed away by Mabika. Aceves tries to fire, and Azcona takes the brunt of that one. Getting lobbed back and forth right now. Azcona, the goal scorer, pushing it forward once again for Inter Miami 2. I was saying earlier, the season will go all the way to September 24th, then the playoffs start the 29th, and will go all the way to October 22nd. More teams will make it this season, 14 as opposed to 8 teams. It'll take about 3 to 4 weeks. An interesting facet to it is the higher seeds get to select their opponents. Interesting little twist that MLS Next Pro is bringing, along with a couple other rule changes. That one will be cleared away to the right-hand side. Neville getting tied up there with Aceves. That'll be a free kick for Inter Miami 2. Here's a look at that contact again. Was looking for a little 1-2 there and end up getting stuck with Alonso Aceves. So they will get the chance at a free kick here. A response goal in the 37th minute from Edison Azcona, assisted by Benjamin Kramashi. Service comes in, flicked on a couple times, and I think that's going to go out for a corner kick. And it will. Ezekiel Abadiareda, the one who provided the service, will do so again here from the corner spot. That ball clunked up into the air and then cleared away. Approaching that 45-minute marker. A game that early on was dominated by Chicago. Ever since they scored, though, Inter Miami 2 has woken up and not only found an equalizer, but have continued to hold over control of the ball and are the ones prodding forward. Sailor up to Kramashi. He'll slip it forward. Still going forward with it now, Abadiareda. Couple of light touches on the ball, and it pings upward. And then will get cleared out by Aceves. Just 1 minute of stoppage time tacked on here. Bit of a self-report there from Ezekiel Abadiareda. Excuse me. Came off his arm, but he completely stopped playing before the whistle even blew. You gotta learn to just keep going on and acting like it didn't happen. You can sometimes get away with those. And perhaps the whistle was just a little delayed and he was gonna get caught in this act, but a moment where the 17-year-old can learn that you can just blow it off a little bit. But that will be the end of the first half. You usually use the term a tale of two halves to describe two halves, but today it was a tale of two halves of the first half. 1-1 in favor of neither side, both getting a goal, and will go into the break level with their opposition. And with that, we have come to the end of our first half of content, but we got some halftime content for you coming your way, including a couple of primers and interviews, starting off with a talk with the Crown Legacy FC president, Darius Barnes, who is in charge of one of the new additions to MLS Next Pro this season. So we'll step aside, and you'll get to hear about that while the players go to the dressing rooms and make their adjustments. We'll see you on the other side.
Welcome back to another exciting season of MLS Next Pro. I'm Samara Perez. The action kicks off this weekend, and today we are delighted to be joined by Crown Legacy President Darius Barnes. Darius, your club debuts this weekend against Huntsville City FC, and we're sure you must be pretty busy, so thank you so much for making time for us today.
No, thanks for having me, Samara. It's a pleasure to join.
How anxious are you to get the season started?
We're excited here at Crown Legacy FC and Charlotte FC to finally be able to enter MLS Next Pro, and for us to be able to finally, put our boots across the white lines and kind of display ourselves. We're excited. Obviously, we tuned in last year in the inaugural season, and for us to be able to enter here in 2023 in our inaugural season. And we're excited about what Crown Legacy FC has to bring and offer to the league.
We often talk about the pathway to MLS Next Pro. What has your path been like from the moment you became president to now?
I started with Charlotte FC here in 2021 to help build and grow our club here in the Carolinas. And it's just been a fantastic opportunity for me. Ultimately success for us is going to be how many players are able to push through our pipeline from our academy to Crown Legacy FC and on to the first team playing at Bank of America Stadium. And so all eyes are on the prize and making sure we're pushing players through to the first team and making sure the players have the necessary resources. We feel confident about the players that we've been able to assemble from a Crown Legacy FC standpoint. And hopefully in a year, 2, 3 years time, we'll be able to see the fruits of that labor.
What has been the biggest hurdle your club has been able to overcome during this past year?
Just finding the dedicated time really has probably been the biggest obstacle, but our organization has been fantastic and given us the support and resources that we need to making sure, obviously, that we were able to launch successfully in MLS last year with Charlotte FC, and have no doubt that we'll be able to do the same this year with Crown Legacy FC. So, a lot of the hard work is behind us, but we still have tons of hard work ahead of us as the season commences this weekend for us on Sunday at 3 p.m. against Huntsville City FC. We're extremely excited about the opportunity to be able to showcase ourselves. So this has just been a fantastic feat for us as a club, and we're looking forward for what's to come.
We're happy to hear that. Darius, what does it mean to you being back in your home state of North Carolina, now leading Crown Legacy FC?
Yeah, it really means the world. It has some extra lift and extra adrenaline for me to be able to help grow a club in my home state. Being from Raleigh, North Carolina, and I played my college ball at Duke University. Being able to have the opportunity to come full circle and bring the game back here and help grow the game here has a little bit of an extra meaning for me. For us, we just want to be another opportunity that motivates kids and motivates youth to pursue their dreams, to pursue their ambitious goals to become a professional player.
All right, now finally, let's dive into the people. What has the community's response been like to the team? Just
been unwavering support for us. We've really tried to be extremely rooted in this community, and that's paid off tenfold. This has been fantastic from a community asset standpoint, and for us as a club, we want to get involved in local communities, and that doesn't just include Charlotte, but it's hyper-local communities. And so just being able to dive in and peel the layers back and give back to the supporting and surrounding communities of the Charlotte area is going to be fantastic. And that exudes off the pitch as well. The boys had a fantastic park cleanup day earlier this week in the Matthews area, and they know the importance that it means to not to just have the community support them, but to support the community as well.
That's amazing. We're excited for you guys. Well, Darius, thank you so much for speaking with us today. It was a pleasure, and we wish Crown Legacy FC much success this season.
I appreciate it, Samara. It was nice to be on here.
I'm Samara Perez. Thanks for tuning in.
As we take a look at the halftime stats here, pretty exciting stuff from the Crown Legacy FC president Darius Barnes. As we look at the halftime stats from this game, you can see here the possession disparity. Early on, you would have said that Chicago Fire were holding the ball more positively, but as that game wore on and after that first goal, Inter Miami too. A lot more with the ball, pushed it forward, held it a lot more of the time, provided some patience in this game. And ultimately, I would say, despite my earlier comments of Chicago looking the better side, I would say after 45 minutes, I think the numbers lend to favor the home side. Of course, things could change again like they did halfway through that first half. Once we get into the second 45 minutes of action, if you're an expected goals kind of person, though, it leads to Chicago Fire having the advantage, .66 to Inter Miami 2's .25. We got some more stuff coming your way, though. We've got a little bit of a primer on this MLS Next Pro season. We've got Michelle Montaigne and Samara Perez, who will both be able to catch you up on everything going into this first weekend of the MLS Next Pro season. So be sure to be paying attention to this one.
Fans, we are back. Michelle Montaigne alongside my co-host Samara Perez, getting ready for season 2, which will be here very, very soon. And since this league does things a little bit differently, we're here to explain all you need to know for season 2 of MLS Next Pro.
MLS Next Pro was launched by Major League Soccer in March of 2022. The Professional Men's Soccer League provides players a pathway to bigger opportunities in soccer, such as landing a first-team contract. MLS Next Pro is fundamental to the development of all professionals working in and around the beautiful game.
There are 27 teams competing in the league this year. They're broken up into 4 divisions that make up 2 conferences. The Frontier and Pacific divisions make up the Western Conference, each featuring 7 teams apiece. The Northeast Division boasts 6 clubs, and the Central Division with 7 teams both make up the Eastern Conference.
Now, this league is all about innovation. Therefore, it features several differences from other soccer leagues. First, there are no ties in MLS Next Pro. If a match ends in a tie at the end of regulation, the game will proceed directly to a shootout with kicks from the penalty mark.
That brings us to the point system. Similar to other soccer leagues, a team will earn 3 points with a win at the end of regulation, 1 point for a tie, and 0 points for a loss in regulation. A club will earn 2 points if the game ends in a tie and they go on to win the shootout that Samara just explained following the end of regulation.
Last year, we introduced 2 rules not seen anywhere else. First, the off-field treatment rule, or OTR for short, where if a player is suspected to have an injury and is on the ground for more than 15 seconds, a medical crew comes onto the field to evaluate the player and assist him off the pitch. The player is then treated by medical staff and required to remain off the field for 3 minutes. Next, the red card suspension rule. If a player receives a red card, that player will serve the resulting 1-game suspension against the same team that he received the red card. This rule applies in the case of a direct red card or a second yellow card. 2023 will introduce a new rule. The league added a new time substitution rule. This allows a maximum of 10 seconds for a player to leave the field when subbed off. If he exceeds 10 seconds, the player coming in must wait 60 seconds to enter the field, which results in the team playing a man down for that period of time.
Also new this year, the expanded playoffs feature a pick-your-opponent format for the first 2 rounds. 7 teams from each conference will advance to the playoffs. The club with the most regular season points in each conference will earn a first-round bye. Now, during the quarterfinals, the next 2 teams in each conference, so the 2 and 3 seeds, will choose their opponent and will host their match. The 2 remaining teams not selected will play each other, with the higher-seeded team hosting. In the conference semis, the 1 seed will choose its opponent from the remaining 2 lowest-seeded teams, with home field advantage, of course. The second highest seed will host the remaining team.
Also this season, the majority of MLS Next Pro matches, plus all Decision Day matches and the Cup, will stream live on MLS Season Pass on Apple TV. To view the complete schedule, visit MLSNextPro.com.
Samara and I are so excited for year 2, and we cannot wait to watch it all unfold alongside all of you.
idea of what was changing here this season, let's take a look at what transpired in the first 45 minutes. A lot of chances, a bevy of them, to say the least, from the Chicago Fire too early on in this game, with just this one breakaway chance for Inter Miami 2. It all just came around in this brief window of time for Inter Miami 2, but then after that, it was all Chicago Fire to push it forward, creating chances. Nick Marsman was doing well, though, to stop the opportunities before they could go anywhere. Several great moments. A shot dragged wide by Misael Rodriguez, and then they'd have a shot moments later go wide in the opposite direction. We get our first booking of the day, and here is that shot that went the opposite way. Just not quite on, but then they would get their goal here. Wonderful exchange between Perpa and Mateo Kidd, who would end up being the one putting this one through and finishing it for the visiting side. But then after this, you'd see quite the response from Inter Miami 2. They continue to poke, prod, find their avenues to attack. This shot from Jake LaCava was just the start of it. And then right here, a careless pass being given away. Kramashi slips it forward, and Edison Azcona does the rest. And that is where we find ourselves. There'll be a couple more moments and chances for Inter Miami 2 in the first half as things wrapped up. But we sit at a level game, 1-1. 45 more minutes for these two sides to decide it in regular play. Once again, my name is Mark Schoenster. Looking forward to seeing how this one wraps up at Drive Pink Stadium. So a lot of warming up taking place here, and two sides getting ready to take to the pitch. Our head official, Kalen Radasav, got his earpiece in and is getting close to blowing that whistle to usher the two teams back onto the pitch, and get all the players still wearing pennies to make their way to the sideline. One substitution coming your way. So two substitutes. Second half gets underway here. We have three substitutions to bring to you. Kendall Burks comes out. Noah Egan comes in. Richard Fleming III comes in for Javier Casas. And then for Inter Miami 2, Harvey Neville makes way for Nick Sesic. So three changes between the two sides as things get back underway here. That ball deflects and stays in play. Chicago Fire, too, looking to create some chances to open out here in the second half, much like they did in the beginning of the first half. Kramashi making his way down the pitch, pushes it forward and will continue to chase it down. They'll quickly throw it in. Good heads-up play. How can they make something out of it? After a couple touches, it's won back by the visiting side. Here they come. Couple of touches. That's going to slip away. And the whistle's going to blow, and it'll be in favor of the visiting side. So there were two other substitutions for Inter Miami 2. Edison Azcona, the goal scorer, coming out for David Ruiz. And then Ame Mabika, the center back, was very active in that first half, comes out, and Tyler Hall, 17 years old, will step in his stead. So a total of 5 substitutions at the halftime break. 2 for the Fire, 3 for Inter Miami 2. So now we've gotten all the boxes checked off. These two teams looking to create successful seasons for some of their talented players. It was season last year where the best 11 in 2022, neither team were able to get a guy on that sheet. And then when it came to the Golden Boot, Goalkeeper of the Year, MVP, Coach of the Year, was a sweep by Columbus, who would also end up winning the whole thing. So just sheer dominance last season. Tripped up there and draw the free kick for the visitors. It'll be Perpa, the one with the assist on their goal in the first half, who will deliver the processing free kick, and that one will swing all the way over to Marsman. Sailor plays it out to Abadiareta. Good sliding challenge there to win back possession. That was Mateo Kidd. Chested down nicely. Going forward once again, and this shot goes through. And Chicago Fire 2 once again are up top. Looks like Billy Hensey, the one who put that one through in the end. That started with a sliding challenge from Mateo Kidd. He's the one who chested it down, and he gets it right back and rifles this one home. Hensey subbed in the first half and was able to have his way with that one. Now we'll see how they respond this go-around going up a goal. Last time Inter Miami 2 put the foot on the gas and took over the control of the game. Can they repeat that process here? Or have Chicago Fire 2 learned from what took place in the first 45 minutes of action? And you have to give props to Mateo Kidd, who came sliding in and winning possession back for Chicago moments before that goal formed. And then just a great 1-2 to get that one through to the back of the net. Saylor is able to send that one back to his keeper. Here they come pushing forward again. Nice squared pass across the middle. The hesitation in the shot goes straight into the arms of the keeper. Maybe too much waiting there. Once again, it's Hensey. Passes it to his left, and Perpa couldn't get it by Marsman. This definitely doesn't look like the way it did after they scored their goal in the first half. Stay a little bit more aggressive this go around and keep the home side on their heels. Mentioned in the first half, I'll mention it again here, a wonderful weather in Fort Lauderdale, 80 degrees, just a little breeze. No need for a hydration break. Of course, that will probably be the case as the season wears on here, as it gets so hot down in Florida. Cross comes in. Ball's headed away, and then more properly cleared out. Kramashi hits by Kidd and plays it out wide. Chipping ball down the middle, and how about that diving challenge from Wyatt Omsberg, making sure it didn't get behind him. I think he was keeping it from getting to Brian Destin. But Omsberg, the center back, doing everything he can to prevent the goal-scoring opportunity, and it was Destin who was streaking behind. Will it be a corner kick, though? Ball crosses in, a couple players falling down. No whistle blown. Ruiz still with it. Ruiz shoots and rolls it right to the keeper. Jeffrey Gall handles it nicely. He's able to get Hensey biting in the very much wrong direction. David Ruiz, a little bit too quick on his feet for the goal scorer on the defensive side. Played out by Abadia Reda. See some of the gesturing and waving from first-year head coach Federico Higuain. Kid looking to connect wide there on the left-hand side. Ruiz wins it back. Miami pushing forward once again. Ruiz over to the left-hand side. Macava's touch is blasted away from him. They'll hold possession here. If you weren't paying attention at halftime, have some new rules. If you're still getting used to everything here in MLS Next Pro that are worth paying attention to. But first, Chicago Fire pushing forward and winning a free kick. Sale Rodriguez drawing the foul. And one of those rules might be coming into play here as he gets waived for some assistance. Here's the challenge from Ezekiel Abadia-Reda. Talking about that off-field treatment rule. The player does get hurt. They are taken off the pitch if they're on the ground for longer than 15 seconds, and I think this is going to be one of those cases as Rodriguez is still on the ground. So he'll get tended to. We'll see if he subs out of the game, but if he does not, then he has to sit off the pitch for 3 minutes of game time. The goal of that's to prevent the gamesmanship of going down and embellishing injuries, which means if a player does go down and stays down, then there's more than likely a chance that they actually have picked up something significant. Trying to figure out a way to just dissuade players from making a scene of contact, and I think it's not a bad idea to give it a shot. Still on the ground here is Rodriguez, so the longer he stays there, the more you think maybe that he'll sub out of the game. Well, he's supposed to come off the field here. He's just gone back up to his feet. I think our officiating crew is still trying to get used to these new rules as well, because I believe Rodriguez is supposed to come out of the game as this ball curls in and then is knocked away by Ruiz. Sliding challenge, one back. But Ruiz does well to escort that ball. And now it'll be cleared away. And the other rules that are worth mentioning: if a player gets a red card, in typical footballing leagues, when you get a red card, you're suspended the next game that the team plays. Can't play in that match. But MLS Next is changing that rule and making it so it's a little bit more beneficial to the team suffering the red card, which is to say, instead of that player being suspended that next game, they're actually suspended the next time they play the team that the red card infraction was against. Reynolds will play this one back, so I think that's also a fair tweak to the rules. It's always a bit of an awkward situation when a player who committed a heinous foul gets to play again the next time the two teams meet. Service comes in, headed upward. Kamashi puts this one forward. Ball squared across the middle. No one's there for it, but tracking it down and winning it back. Here's a shot from Ruiz, deflected away. Going off the back of Aceves. And now he'll clear it, get it out of harm's way. This portion of the match is brought to you by AutoNation, the official automotive retailer and dealership of Inter Miami CF. And we got a substitution here. So after making those stops, Alonso Aceves will come out of the game and Charlie Ostrem will come in his place. It's a Job well done there from Aceves. Now Inter Miami too will look to find how they'll push forward again. I mentioned 2 of the 3 big rule changes: the off-field treatment rule, the red card suspension rule, and then last but not least, the game ends in a tie. It's not over. No ties this season in MLS Next Pro. Instead, they'll go straight to a shootout. Quick way to decide a winner, but of course, if it is a tie, though, at least 1 point will be won by both teams, and then the shootout will determine who gets that other point. You get 3 whole points, though, if you win in regulation, which is currently where Chicago stands. Holding up here. A shot towards goal, bounces wide. A skipping effort from Brian Destin, but not quite on target. Here's a look at it again. That one had a lot of punch behind it. Would have been a pain to handle if Jeffrey Gao needed to stretch out for it. Lucky for that keeper. The rip shot from Destin, not quite on the mark. NC dishes it out to the right-hand side. Richard Fleming plays it back into the middle. And that looks like it's going to be a yellow card infraction from David Ruiz, and it will be. Came sliding in and reckless. Are going to get yellow cards. But Ruiz, the 19-year-old midfielder, his 3rd year with the program, will go into the books. 2nd yellow card of the day, both of which against the home side. Down on the ground, Luca Perpa had himself a good day so far. 2 assists to help his team lead 2-1 here. Now, after getting fouled there, free kick for the visiting side here. Let's see what they'll do. Service comes inside, it's knocked away. Kidd won it back for a moment, got cleared away, but it will stay Chicago throw. Got a couple other games happening right now. St. Louis and Tacoma scoreless at a similar time. Meanwhile, 2 other games that got started recently. Atlanta and New England. 20 minutes in, 0-0. New York and Columbus, 20 minutes in. New York is already up a goal to 0. Of course, we had games yesterday, the day prior. The MLS Next Pro season is in full swing. There's Ruiz. carry this one forward. Ruiz cuts to his right, pops it out to the right-hand side. Inter Miami find a response. That service is deflected. Mashi to the top. Kaba gets that one knocked away by Justin Reynolds. Sailor plays it forward, and it's one back by the Fire. Hensey to his right to Purpa. Purpa switches. A lot of space in that center, but it won't get taken by Charlie Ostrom. So up to this point, an early flurry of chances for Chicago Fire in the first half gave him the advantage. And then Inter Miami responded with the passion in the first half, taking over control of the game and finding a goal. But now here come the Fire once again, who have had most of the control here in the second half and once again have a lead to show for it. This portion of the match is brought to you by Florida Blue, the official health insurance of Inter Miami CF. It's the first goal scorer of the day, Mateo Kidd, assisted by Luca Purpa, who would also assist the second goal for Chicago Fire here in the second half for Billy Hensey. And Edison Azcona with the lone goal for Inter Miami 2. Made his way to the bench, but was assisted by Kramashi, who is still in the game. Now Hensey making his way forward. Tried to parry that one across the middle. It's knocked out by Sailor for a corner. See who makes their way over to take it. It looks like Purpa will walk his way over. Purpa sends it in, a low driving ball, but still deflected right around the penalty marker spot, which is a place that you feel good about if you're the attacking side. But no one in the region of the ball, but they'll keep going. Reynolds with the service inside, headed back into the middle. Couple of turns, plays it across. Kidd to the right-hand side, still working on it, and getting that shot deflected away. Glanced off for another corner kick. Wyatt Omsberg had some chances to maybe shoot or figure out what to do with the ball, and he opted not to take it, the center back, and instead look for a place to pass to. So he turns there and instead plays it out wide to, not out wide, but just plays it to his right to Mateo Kidd. Perhaps if Wyatt Omsberg was a more attacking-minded player, would have thought to let the shot rip, but he is a center back. And that one sails all the way over, headed back across and into the hands of Marsman. I had to fight for that one. Here comes Chicago, pushing forward once again. Possession will be lost here. If you're tuning in, we appreciate you watching on MLSNextPro.com. We're able to find where you could tune into a lot of these games. 250 of them will be broadcasted, along with 13 playoff matches globally on MLS Season Pass. The other 130 games roughly will be here on this website as this shot skips wide. MLSNextPro.com will have the rest of them, like this game here today. And if you don't have the MLS Season Pass for some of those games on Apple TV, not only do you get those games, but you also get game replays, highlights, analysis, other original programming and club content. So I would highly recommend getting in on that here this season. Yeah, make sure you can see all the games that your favorite club is playing in and learn all the nitty-gritty details en route to that. Kramashi plays over to that left-hand side for Ezekiel Abadiareta. He wasn't able to keep it in play, though, which means Chicago Fire will hold on to the lead for a little bit longer here. Good touch from Ruiz. Ruiz still with it. Moves back to his left. Can he keep it in play? He can. Ruiz, service back into the center, and it's knotted away. Just over 15 more minutes to go in regulation for Inter Miami 2 to find a response, to find that equalizing goal. Sailor will play it back to Marsman. Wasn't even 24 hours ago that Inter Miami and Chicago played each other on this pitch. What a game that was. 3-2 in favor of the visiting side. Kay Camara with a goal in stoppage time to win it for the road team. And they're looking for the first team, second team sweep on the road. This portion of the match is brought to you by Baptist Health, the official medical provider of Inter Miami CF. Another substitution coming into the game. Kobe Thomas steps in, and Jake LaCava comes out. Thomas, 17 years old, his second year with the program, at least with the second team. Been around with the academy a little bit longer than that. They'll look to provide an extra spark here in these final 15 or so minutes. So 2-1 advantage in this MLS Next Pro season opener for these two sides in favor of Chicago Fire FC2. We'll look to double that advantage here, but it'll go right into the hands of Nick Marsman. Deflect and go straight into the arms of Jeffrey Gall. Chance on the other side for Chicago. This one squared in the middle, headed away before it could reach any aggressor. And that'll deflect out for a Chicago Fire 2 throw. Service comes in, scuffles around, and rocketing through to the back of the net. The advantage is doubled for the visitors. Alex Monis scored the last time these two teams met. And now he's opened up his account for the 2023 season. Scuffled around and fell to his feet, and he, with a bit of a 180 twist, just ripped that one through. Not much that could be done there for Nick Marsman. And now Chicago Fire 2, well on their way to 3 points to open up this season. Here they come again. Perpa gets it poked away. Finger on that left-hand side, and that's a tough challenge. And it's going to go out for a corner kick, no foul called. Getting a little entangled there, but I'm going to say it's all clean from Sessick. It'll be a corner kick once again for Chicago. They're able to knock another one in after their last corner kick attempt. Arms of Marsman. Worth noting, last time these two teams met here, the scoreline was 3-1, but in favor of Inter Miami 2. So reversing the result on the road in this second endeavor between these two sides, from this location at least. Time ticking away here. They're looking to be a statement road win to start the season for Chicago Fire 2. Who look good out the gates. Let the home side creep back into the game. But then here in the second half, it's been almost all Chicago. Get a substitution here for the Fire as the goal scorer, the most recent goal scorer that is, Alex Moniz comes out, and Noah Hernandez will take his place. Five minutes to go. Things are looking good for the visiting side. I mentioned it earlier. The first team's playing yesterday. Chicago winning that game in late dramatic fashion. It's a good weekend in the Chicago Fire organization. Maybe looking for another here. They're going to get a free kick and maybe a booking as well for Kobe Thomas. Justin Reynolds breaking down that right-hand side. That's a third booking on the day for the home side. He just tumbles into Reynolds there. And a breakaway chance. That's going to get you a yellow card. This is in a dangerous spot, too, for the visiting side. Perpa takes it himself, and he's off the mark. So for Inter Miami 2, they'll have to look to either A, conduct a miraculous comeback here in the next 3 minutes, or they can start thinking about the road trip to Philadelphia Union 2 next Sunday. That'll be the next time they play. Meanwhile, for Chicago, the goal will be to carry momentum into this next Friday at SeatGeek Stadium against Toronto FC 2. That's where these two teams will be headed next after the final whistle blows here. Call a foul there on Hensey. As Miami will push it forward again. Sliding challenge. Real physical, and too physical for our head official, especially here late in the game. Got a lot of body there in that sliding challenge. I think that's Charlie Ostrom, who will collect the first yellow card of the season for the Chicago Fire 2. Confirm it. Yep, Charlie Ostrom with the yellow card. And Chicago with maybe one more breakaway before everything is said and done. But they also could opt to just take it to the corner. See this one to its conclusion. Just had 1 minute of stoppage time tacked on at the end of the first half. So we're going to get 3 minutes here. We did have a couple players go down and add a pair of goals in this half, much like we did in the first. Thomas will cut over to the right-hand side. Plays it in the middle, and a loose touch there from Ryan Saylor. Minute and a half of the 3 added minutes expired here. this opening weekend of MLS Next Pro. Looks like it'll be 3 goals and 3 points for Chicago Fire 2 on the road to start off their campaign here in 2022, looking to build off, or 2023, excuse me, to build off their 22 campaign. They missed the playoffs last year. They're looking to have a different story this go around. Some flights taking off from the nearby airport, the Hollywood International. Which I'm sure Chicago will be taking on their way out of here, and they'll be doing so rather pleased. As that final whistle blows, 3 goals and 3 points for the visitors, Chicago Fire 2. They open up their MLS Next Pro second season in the right fashion. And for Inter Miami 2, they'll be looking to bounce back next Sunday against Philadelphia Union 2. But for today, it's the Fire who are victorious. Outside of that brief window of time in the first half, pretty confident performance all around from the Chicago Fire 2. And now for tonight's man of the match, which is Mateo Kidd of Chicago Fire 2, and it is presented by Adidas. He got the goal scoring started today. He also had a big role to play in the conducting of the second goal they scored in the eventual game winner. And he was just a presence all over the field all day, intercepting passes, disrupting, orchestrating things going forward. I think a well-deserved 90-minute shift from Kidd today. Playing not like a kid at all for all 90 minutes. But it wasn't just him who had a great performance today. Just a good showcase from this Chicago Fire 2 side. Well-deserved 3 points to start off their season. A good 90 minutes here on MLSNextPro.com. Again, this will be a place you can tune in to watch a lot of the games this season. The other ones will be on MLS Season Pass. With that, we're in the end of our stream here. Hope you enjoyed tuning into this broadcast and getting this season going. A lot of games ahead for both these two sides and for the league as a whole. Been a great first weekend, and it's not over yet if you want to tune into some of the other games. Still got some matches at halftime at this very moment in this opening weekend of MLS Next Pro's second year in the works. But for our broadcasting crew, my name is Mark Schuster. We appreciate you tuning in, and we'll see you next time here. Your final score from this one at Drive Pink Stadium, Chicago Fire 2 with 3 goals to Inter Miami 2's 1.